So the Grysks are a species that have not made a live action or an animated appearance yet. They have only appeared in the Thrawn novels. Their description confirms they have a tapered skull, 2 arms, deep set eyes, no teeth, wide shoulders and angled brow ridges. Now even though they have no teeth, it's not that their species weren't born with them or anything. They actually removed them and replaced them with upper and lower mouldings, so that way they could conceal communicators, lock breakers and break apart weapons. Something Thrawn had noted as ingenious. Now they are currently living somewhere in the unknown regions. It's a mystery where they originated from, but it is believed that they were a nomad species, that their ships are their home and they travel through space. They were seen so very little that some information about them came from myth, one that highlighted that they were fierce warriors, and they had so many starships that they could block out the stars, and they would overwhelm their enemies in their extraordinary numbers. But Thrawn, who has the ability to learn about different races through their art, he believed that some of those myths were inaccurate. He believed that they weren't nomads, and they actually used tactics that were just unheard of. Now the Grysks convinced other species that they call client species to go ahead and do some of their bidding. Now by convinced I mean that they either promised them things or they inflicted fear into their hearts. Sometimes they used the telepathic abilities of one of their client species called the Agbui to look into the minds of who they want to ally with, so that way they can learn what they want and what they fear to bend them to their will. Other times they would just control the government of another alien population, which of course in turn gives them control over the entire species. These methods had a Chiss member believe that it only took one Grysk to rule an entire nation, and only 100 Grysks to rule an entire planet. Thrawn believed that the Grysks were not only just a huge threat to both the Chiss and the unknown regions, but to the Empire and the rest of the galaxy based on how they operate. The Grysks would watch their foes from afar, learning all that they can to better themselves in case of combat or invasion. Thrawn had believed that the Grysks had been watching the rest of the galaxy since the Clone Wars. Evidence of this was Thrawn had noticed during combat with the Grysks that they knew that cortosis would be effective against blasters and lightsabers. Now within this same area during the Clone Wars, the Separatists discovered cortosis, and they created clone trooper armor from it as well as B-2 battle droids. Thrawn had surmised that the Grysks had seen what the Separatists had developed and they took it for themselves. Thrawn had warned Vader that the Grysks would be preparing for their invasion on the rest of the galaxy, as according to Admiral Ar'alani, the Grysks had entered into Imperial space and committed crimes against the Empire by the year of 1 BBY. So if they are this much of a threat to the entire galaxy, where are they? Were they defeated by the Chiss Ascendancy? Or is the war still going on in the unknown regions? Hopefully Ahsoka can provide some clarity for us. Hope it helped.